Hi, Pia.
Hi, Heidi.
Thank you so much for joining me on this new version of the Alumni Spotlights. As you know, Alumni Spotlights are an opportunity to highlight individuals within the alumni community. And so you are our first guest for this live version. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you.
And just a little intro for those of you who don't know Pia. She's an exemplary alumna from the class of 1996. And she's connected with our scholars through visits to our summer program and most recently our annual recognition ceremony back in August, where I met her wonderful family and she was incredibly supportive. And you are a graduate of Groton School.
Yes.
You went on to Boston University and NYU, and now you serve as the director of a family workshop and event planning nonprofit organization, Creating Legacies in Brooklyn. And you also ran in the Democratic primary for the District 40 seat in the New York City Council in 2017.
Yes.
So again, welcome, and let's get started.
Thank you, Heidi.
So can you tell me a little bit about the work that you do and about your role as the director of Creating Legacies?
Sure. So I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in the Crown Heights and Flatbush communities, in a family business, which was right at the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Park Place. So that's really where my love and passion for community engagement began. And I founded an organization called Creating Legacies. So we do events and workshops with families, really at the premise that if we strengthen our families, then we strengthen our communities. So one of the most important pieces of it is that adults are able to network both professionally and personally while the children are building skills at the same time. So for example, just a few weeks ago, we had a financial literacy workshop geared to our youth ambassadors. And we hosted it at Carver Bank, which is one of our largest African-American institutions as far as banking goes in our community in New York City. So we had some of our seniors, our parents, our children, our youth all together learning about financial literacy and banking and building wealth. And while it was geared to our children, a lot of our adults, this is information that they have not gotten before. And so it's a way that we can all grow at the same time, and then people can network in the room.
And another fun question, just looking at everything that you've done thus far, definitely all of the things that you've been proud of. If you had a do-over in life, what would that do-over be?
I think when I reflect on the years coming out of college, it's sort of this safe space where you have family around you have your friends, your recent graduate. The world sort of hasn't gotten in the way, so I think if I had it to do over during that time period, I would be more focused on some financial investment and maybe purchasing property and things that can help to sort of build the legacy for now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's what I would definitely say to our scholars out there that are in your late teens and early 20s to really be focused and deliberate on how you're spending your wealth, where you're spending your dollars, making sure that we're supporting businesses and corporations that support our efforts and our vision as a community, and that we're being treated with respect and dignity in everywhere that we shop, and that any ideas that you have to really put those forth and really believe that you can be the next corporation or business or whatever you're interested in.
Definitely, and that's actually really fitting since one of the classes that you visited during your visit to the summer program was a financial literacy course, which is new, which we introduced this summer to our students. It was really exciting for all of our scholars to learn about the importance of their wealth, the importance of their money and savings, and capital in general. When you trace your trajectory, starting off as a scholar into being successful in college and beyond, and then being successful in the first steps of your career to now, what has been something that has been or served as your North Star when you do make your plans?
I think really engaging with youth and community has been a North Star, and with the Alumna program I had the opportunity to go to the Groton School, which is in Groton, Massachusetts. And while I was leaving Brooklyn for that period of time, I was very invested in making sure that the knowledge and the skills that I acquired, that I was bringing it back to my community. And that still resonates in everything that I do, especially in empowering our voices as community members, empowering our voices as women, empowering our voices as people of color, and knowing how important political action and advocacy can be to bring needed resources to our community, to advocate a voice for change in policy that affects our neighborhoods, and just making sure that people exercise their right and their civic engagement right to vote, those who have the right.
What is it that inspired you to get into the political scene in the first place?
it was just part of the culture of my family. And I grew up around a lot of elected officials and sort of hearing people talk about what was going on in the local political scene. So it's something I always thought about. I was especially interested in city council because I understood how the role of city council directly impacts your immediate community, meaning how city resources are allocated to a specific neighborhood. And when you're the city council member, you have the opportunity to interface with the people in the neighborhood. Yourself, you live in the community, you work in the community, you raise your children in the community, so you have a firsthand glimpse of the needs that are there as well as the things that you enjoy that you want to see perpetuated.
So what were your top 3 takeaways from that experience?
Okay, let's see, there's a lot to take away from the experience, but especially as scholars, really being grounded in who you are, being confident in who you are, being rooted spiritually, whatever that looks like for you, if that's a religious affiliation, if that's taking walks, if that's meditating, but really having an opportunity to be grounded in who you are and confident in who you are, because it's a very challenging experience. You're literally interfacing with thousands of people on a daily basis, and I think that interaction, it can be a bit overwhelming. So telling your own story and encouraging others to do the same. As communities and as neighborhoods, everyone has a different historical path that's not documented necessarily. And I think just like the Oliver program is creating this alumni spotlight, creating ways that you can present media that serves your community or serves the enclave that you want to highlight is a beautiful thing. And just making sure that we encourage others along the way, I think, is an incredible takeaway, because being able to lead a group of people and respect that leadership and lead with integrity and purpose and know that there's so many voices that you're representing. So being clear about what's the best way to represent the large number of voices that you have in the scope that you're able to do so.
So Pia, thank you again for joining me in what I hope becomes a new part of Oliver's. This has been a really fun way of getting to know you, and I hope that I can get to know other alumni this way too.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.